Hey there, Nancy Drew Clue Crew. I'm Arglefumph. This is a death percent run for Nancy Drew, White Wolf of Icicle Creek. The idea is that I'm trying to reach the first death of the game as quickly as possible. The first death of the game is burning food. And I checked every single death. So, can you scrape off snow on the skating pond? Not until you talk to Bill first, so you can't do that at the start of the game. Can you freeze to death outside? Yes, but that takes like a minute or two. What if you change the time so it's later in the day? Well, if you change the time so it's later in the day, well, if it's later on, it's colder, so Nancy freezes to death sooner. But, and here's the thing, if you change the timer to later on in the day, you have to do your chores. Otherwise, when you try to go outside for Nancy to freeze, you get a phone call from Chantal saying, hey, why didn't you clean the rooms? Or hey, why didn't you do the laundry? Or hey, why don't you do the cooking? So that's why going outside at a different time is not a good death scene. It just takes too long because you have to do the laundry first. But cooking is definitely a death you can do at the very start of the game. You do have to change the time, though, because you start the game at, like, 9:05, and 8 to 9 is when you have to cook breakfast. So you have to skip ahead to lunch, which is 12 o'clock. But that's fine, because Nancy's alarm clock is already set to 12 at the start of the game. So you go to Nancy's alarm clock and move to 12 o'clock. You don't even have to change the time, just hit the button, and Nancy wakes up at 12.
You sure you don't?
And you have to go to Nancy's dresser anyway in order to pick up the key. Nancy can't leave the room without first picking up her master key. So it's simple. You just go to Nancy's table, you grab the key, you set the alarm clock, then you go downstairs and burn a quesadilla. That gets you to the first death of the game. So there is a minor skip with the task list, which I wasn't able to do. So the idea is that you open up Nancy's task list and then you click on it, because Nancy can't talk while Nancy is talking, and there are like 2 lines of dialogue that Nancy says here in the speedrun. Like, number 1, she says, that must be the key that Ollie left for me. But on Nancy's task list, she'll say, check, or can't do that yet. And both of those are faster things than, that must be the key that Ollie left for me. So by getting Nancy to say, check, which interrupts, that must be the key that Ollie left for me, you know, we cut off that sentence about the key and get going on with the game that much faster. It only saves like 1 or 2 seconds, so it's not a huge time saver. I do try to do that here. I wasn't able to do that. The task list is always there on junior mode. I tried doing it with senior mode a couple of times, but the task list button was grayed out for whatever reason, so I switched to doing it on junior mode. Nancy, the first thing on Nancy's task list is to read the case file, and you can do that before the game starts, so that's easy enough. You can read it on Nancy's desk, so you can actually finish the first thing on your task list before starting the game. That's a fun little thing. Okay, so here we go. Now I actually get to control Nancy after 4 minutes. 4 minutes. I run over here. I did do this. I tried and failed to do the task list skip. It's very sad. I did do this like 5 or 6 times, and this was my fastest run. I'm surprised because I think it's not super duper fast. I did mess up like some navigation there, like turning to the right, messed up there, and then turning right again. I kind of messed up. But that's another line of dialogue there where Nancy says, I don't need to cook. I don't know why she says that, but I imagine if you did the task list skip, you know, that would skip that line of dialogue of Nancy saying, well, I'm not going in there until I have to cook. For whatever reason, you need to double click on the door to get Nancy inside. Maybe I clicked on the door in the wrong spot. Maybe that was my mistake. In which case, if you click on the door in the right spot, you could probably get to the end of this game faster. So that is my death percent run. 4 minutes, 35 seconds. That's how long it took me to get to the first death of the game. As I've indicated, there's definitely room for improvement in this death percent speedrun, but I hope you found this informative and entertaining anyway.